So I have to make everyone be a tiny bit quiet, but there's a lot of people down there.
Oh, well, this house is meant to be filled with people. That's what it's designed for. So,
and so it's living its purpose. If we could all say the same.
I know. Well, it's not meant for interviews, nice quiet interviews with 30 people downstairs.
But it's nice to have you upstairs, away from the din, just for a minute, just to talk about this incredible piece of art. Really, it's just outstanding. When we walk in, it's so impressive in so many levels. And your work, obviously, you do a lot of commercial buildings and art buildings and really grand buildings. So the residential piece, to see that influence. Tell me everything. I don't know where to start. Tell me everything, Alan.
Oh boy. Well, it is funny. This house has been designed to be theatrical, and we probably brought that to it because that's our inclination. We do design concert halls, we design theaters, and my feeling is buildings are set pieces, are characters in a play. In other words, a play is a story. I think of people's lives as stories, just the way you probably interview.
Yes.
Looking for the stories of your client,
yes.
of your shows.
Yes.
We do the same
yes.
in trying to design buildings, and then we try to build the building around that story. And so for these folks, the story was family.
Oh, in
lots
spades.
And lots of family.
Yes.
And so we pictured this dramatic place where family would be dispersed all over the place, like a big piazza, surrounded by the houses and people looking through the windows or looking off the stairways down the hill town. So it's very much plays off of their love of Europe, their European background, and the environments that they have fallen in love with from that.
Now, with us doing the Sabre with the champagne outside near the fire pit, we were able to see from the outside the well-lit home on the inside. And talk about just drama, the beautiful windows, that wall of windows that you have. From the inside is exquisite, seeing out to the nature, to the trees. But from the outside in, gorgeous.
It's a very special thing in both directions. I have to say, we conceive of homes being able to be inside and experiencing the beauty of the outside.
Yes.
So our
the
windows,
inside-out type of thing.
Yeah, that's where it really starts. And so you have this house butts up right up to a conservation land, and so the whole house reaches out like a big hug to that conservation land. And otherwise, every room has special windows to get special views. Like
the playroom, up high with the trees.
The tree house, yeah.
Like a tree house.
Yeah, very
Liz
much
was telling me about that.
So, but I have to say, tonight coming to the party, it was the first time I'd seen the house at night, and it was all aglow. And so, yes, when you open the house up to all the views, you also get to look into the house with all the views. It is quite. And
so this is your first time seeing it filled with people as well, yes?
Oh, yes. I've been dying just to be invited to a party here.
Right?
Yes.
It's like being a dress designer and finally seeing your dress on a model, or seeing someone walk into a party wearing it. I mean, it's just it takes your masterpiece just one level deeper,
Well, we're always, I'm always worried and ask the client when we finish, did we get it right? Is it working the way you asked us to make it work? And they said yes, and I'm still thinking, are we sure? Did we make a mistake here? Did we not make this big enough? And so it's really wonderful to see how they furnished it for their parties. And there's enough room that they describe the flexibility in which they can use the room and make it for many people, or they can shrink it down and make it very intimate for small
And for a
groups of
large
people.
space, it really does not feel vacuous, large space. It
Right.
doesn't feel empty, overbearing. When we walked around, it's compartmentalized, yet it's so open.
Right.
So you do have these places to get away. Yeah, I love that part about it. So sitting downstairs, what I was really noticing when we were having our conversation on the couch, the homeowners and me, was the way my eye, I'm sure it's intentional, was moved upward with the fireplace and the glass, the fire glass there, and then the wooden ceiling, beautiful, moved across, And then I just felt like the way that you designed it, my eye was constantly moving in such a beautiful pace, intentionally. I knew I was being moved. I knew you were controlling where I was looking by your careful design. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Like a painting with some quiet space, but also movement, dynamic. This home, dynamic.
Yeah, yeah. And we do what's wonderful about new technologies like the computers is we build the model in the computer, and we can now go inside and study it, so we can be sculptors looking and making decisions while we're in the space.
Yes.
So these things are not like plans, you draw the plans and then oops, whatever you get, you get.
So real VR.
Oh yeah. We're having a ball with that.
I bet.
Oh, that's fun.
It used to you had to have that skill to be able to think about it ahead of time. So there must be more people entering the industry now, I would say, who couldn't, some were able to see it ahead of time and others couldn't until they actually built it.
Yeah.
So I would imagine more people are coming in because this kind of allows them to be able to do that.
Well, clients are getting a clearer sense of what they're getting.
Yes.
And we give the model to the client. So, Michael is savvy with computers. So we give him the model. They come home. They spend lots of time walking around it. And the interesting thing that's different is when the thing gets built, there aren't too many surprises. In other words, they really sort of say, oh yeah, that's just the way we saw it. The only difference is now their body is in it and they feel it differently than you feel it looking at a movie or a video screen. But so we feel a lot more relaxed. We know what we're going to deliver. We know how it's going to work, and gives us freedom and flexibility in terms of being more sculptural in our efforts.
Sculptural is definite. Now, your partner, your wife, your complementary skill sets.
Yes.
She gave a lot of praise to her as doing a lot of the presenting things and saying, what do you think about this? Like the fishbowl, sculptural, artistic, like an art. And there's a child crawling on the catwalk.
There you go. That's how it's supposed to work.
That's how it's supposed to work. But Mike says that she also, she did a lot of work herself also, but it was a nice collaboration. So tell me about the relationship between the homeowners and you two, the four of you, the eight of you, there's the dynamic there.
I don't know if you realize that she and I are partners in everything.
Yes,
so we're married.
Yes.
And it took a few years to establish, figure out where we each stood and stepped, etc.
Yes.
Now it's very fluid.
Yes.
We kind of joke with each other, and our shtick is that I see the world from 50,000 feet,
yes.
and she sees it, right in front of her hands.
Yeah, 8 inches or something like that,
yes.
right?
So she does all the tactile things, all the color features, all the artwork, and I will oversee the overall spatial arrangements and composition of things.
Yeah, quite a harmony you have there, right? Yes, and so also the touches of color throughout. Is that so? You had to make spaces that would allow for that too. That was knowing where the colors were going to be part of the physical plan of the design.
Yeah. What happens is as it gets designed, you start talking about light and how light is to play, and what color will do to enhance or strengthen visual patterns. So it's she gets into the model as well, and she starts looking around and seeing where she can put her fingerprints.
Yeah. And so what would you say is your favorite part of this home? I mean, is there anything in this home that you had never done before that this was out on a limb, so to speak, or was it all of your years of experience implemented in just a tiny bit of different way? You know what I'm saying by that?
Sure. Well, one, the theatricality of it. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've ever been so direct in terms of creating a theater environment or a stage set full scale in a home. But the other feature which we're really proud of is Michael saw one of our homes that is, rich in terms of materials, and it's a very broad and it's a very expensive home. He obviously was taken by it, but told us, I just can't afford something of that ilk.
Right.
But can you give me the feeling of what you do here? So what we've done is we basically said, let's put the money in space and let the materials be very modest and simple and unitary, so that we're not spending a lot of money on fancy materials and fancy moldings. We're spending money on the richness of where windows are located and where light comes through and the volumes of spaces rises and lowers. So that's so we're very proud at the price point of this house and what they've gotten for it. So I actually feel as though this is a direction we can justify as a legitimate way to build homes.
Right, because you're not compromising your artistry. You're just slightly tweaking it, right? I mean, you're not compromising it.
No, not at all. In fact, our tastes are probably for the modesty that we see in this house. And in fact, some clients can ask for rich granites and fancy, artwork, sculpted rails, etc. We don't think it's necessary. That level of intervention is necessary to create a wonderful residential environment. What we do find is that what's important is what people put in their environment that allows them to see themselves in it. So one of the things that's really fun for us is to see this as a gallery for the artifacts that they brought from their kind of emotional connections to the Portuguese vernacular.
Like that first vignette when you first walk in the door to the left.
Yeah, so it's like that's their life. That's how they're choosing to present themselves and celebrate who they are. And so we're really happy with this. And this is really taken from the glass balls come from the balls that hold up the nets in fishing villages. So
as well as the piece of art on the way in. Yeah, so that homage to the fishing heritage, the Portuguese fishing villages, just the love of the ocean, the water. It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's really beautiful. So your favorite part of the whole, do you have any, can you say?
Of course, the favorite part is this main space.
Yes.
I love meandering through it. I love the procession through the space so that you see it opening and closing. For me, it's a big piece of sculpture that you get to walk around and inhabit.
And 3 years it took.
3 years, yeah. Design came along pretty quickly, but you can, if you have a chance, you should talk to the builder who's here. I don't know how they figured out how to measure all these angles.
And I don't know from which window shall I make my speech, because there are so many places to act out my theater this evening. I'm not sure which one. There's so many choices. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 right here. There's the playroom looking over to the media room.
Well, I hope you will. I hope you'll find some place to do that.
Well, congratulations.
They do need that scene in the show.
I think they do. Maybe I'll close the show in a way that's...
Please do. Demonstrate how it works.
Well, it's great to talk to you. I mean, continued success with your the longevity of your company and your business.
Thank you. And for your show, I really think it's very impressive.
Well, thank you. It's my honor actually to be able to highlight people with such talent. I mean, it's just to be in the home with the homeowner and their friends and their family in an intimate setting, to have them intimately show, then also to shock the talent behind it. I mean, I can't get a better life than that.
No, it's a great formula. But I really appreciate it because from our view, just showing architecture and that's the story, that's too thin a story.
Yes.
I think you're helping to give a real sense of context for why things are built the way they are and the lives that should and can take place and shape them. So good job.
Well, I think we should join the party.
There you go.